Hi, my name is Atif Kamal, and this is my introduction to my lessons on logic and reasoning. In this video, I will tell you my experience, what you have to gain from watching my videos in logic and reasoning. I'll tell you why I'm offering my lessons, the general structure of each lesson, and I will give you my contact info in case you have any comments or questions you'd like to leave me. Okay, so let's begin. I graduated from UC Berkeley in fall of 2009. Currently I'm teaching writing to 3rd and 4th graders. I've been practicing teaching for 2 years in my credential program, and currently I'm writing a book on logic and reasoning. Alright, so what do you have to gain? One thing that logic will do for you is help you break down the structure of an argument. That'll make it more clear. It'll help you identify assumptions and look at them from different angles. And it will help you minimize the possibilities that you will consider in order to determine what is true. Those are a few examples of what logic can do for you. Then for reasoning, it'll help you realize what evidence does prove and what it does not prove. Okay, so let's start with some examples for logic. Okay, on the left you have the original argument. On the right you have the broken down version. So bad grades may be related to improper study habits. Sylvan learning can optimize your study habits. On the right, in the first block of text under clarified versions is the first premise. If you are getting bad grades, Sylvan learning can optimize your study habits. The next bit of text, you are getting bad grades. That is the second premise. So let's pretend it's true. You are getting bad grades. So then the conclusion would be Sylvan learning can optimize your study habits. So that's an example of how logic can break down the argument for you in terms of the premises, the reasons, and the conclusion that they prove or attempt to prove. I just want to clarify also that this is not an actual argument that Sylvan learning makes. It's one that I just made up. So I just wanted to clarify that. Okay, so assumptions. If you recall, at the very beginning of the argument, it said bad grades may be related to improper study habits. So it's saying that improper study habits can cause bad grades. The second bit of text reflects that relationship. If you have improper study habits, you will get bad grades. But if it's true for you, then it'll be true for everybody else. So everyone who has improper study habits will get bad grades. So those are a couple ways to look at that one assumption from different angles. And one other assumption, which I have not mentioned on this slide, and which is kind of indirect, is that if you optimize your study habits, then you will get good grades. That's another assumption, which is not explicit. Alright, so it narrows possibilities, such as through the law of non-contradiction. The law of non-contradiction just basically says that the same statement cannot be both true and false. So either bad grades are related to improper study habits, or they're not. Any information that isn't about bad grades being or not being related to improper study habits is a distraction. So you should only focus on information that either shows you how they are related or they're not. Here's some examples of the law of non-contradiction in action. To blog or not to blog? That is the question. Either you will or you won't blog. Both of those cannot be true at the same time. To be or not to be self-employed? Either you will be self-employed or you won't. Both of those cannot be true at the same time. To be or not to be? Either you will live in to be or you won't. And lastly, to be or not to be? That is the question. Either some particular thing does or it does not exist. Okay? And now reasoning. One thing reasoning does for you is that it helps you focus on what evidence does prove, and in which case what is true. So you know that it says bad grades may be related. So from all that, all you know is that it's saying that bad grades could be related to improper study habits, or they could not be. Okay? And once you realize what evidence does prove, you can also focus on what it does not prove. And when it says bad grades may be related, since you know that means it could or could not be related, it doesn't necessarily mean that bad grades are related to improper study habits. Knowing what evidence does prove will prevent you from making that mistaken judgment. Okay, so why am I offering these lessons? Number one, to the best of my ability, I would like to make everyone as logical and reasonable as possible, because your ability, I think, to make good decisions depends on this. And my other reasons are because I want to offer classes in logic and reasoning for students K through 5 and also to adults. And your feedback later on, if you choose to give it to me, will help me deliver my lessons better, whether it's to students, to elementary students, or to adults. Okay, now here's the general lesson structure. I'll start off by telling you why the lesson is important. Then I'll show you examples of how to do the exercises that I have on there. Then you'll go to exercises. You'll try to do the exercises on your own. You can pause the video. After you finish the exercises, you can go on and see the answers that I give to compare them to your own answers, your own attempt. And then I'll give you some ideas for some practice you can do on your own, suggested practice. And then I'll tell you what lesson you can look forward to for my next video. Alright, so here's a summary. For logic, it breaks down the structure of arguments. It helps you look at assumptions from different angles, and it helps you minimize the possibilities so you only consider that information which is relevant to determining what's true. Now for reasoning, it helps you focus on what evidence does prove so that you know what is true, and by doing that, it helps you focus on what it does not prove so you do not mistakenly accept what is false. Okay, so if you have any comments or questions, it could be because you were confused with something I said, it could be because you want to help me improve my videos in the future, or because you simply disagree with something that I said. If any of those are your reasons, or if you have any other reason, please feel free to contact me at katif@gmail.com, and thank you for watching my video.